Oh. Just make every old person noise. What is today? What am I doing? All right. Do we remember the fact that I was working on a short story that was supposed to mimic like an academic article? Cause I kind of remember it. So to give context, because I film in a very different schedule than you see it. Spoiler alert, I don't know if other people knew that. But sometimes I'll record several vlogs in one week, and so that way I can take a couple of weeks off from filming. So to give context, today is August 28th. The last time I worked on the plotting of this short story was in July, and it was July 25th. According to my planner, that was the last time I worked on this story. It has been a month since I have thought about, worked on, engaged with this story. So I'm a tiny bit out of sorts with it. Where I left off, from what I remember, and I might find that I'm wrong once I open up my computer, but from what I remember, I had an outline. I had my notes and I had my idea of where I was going. All I needed to do was sit down and write, and I just haven't done that yet. We're amending that today. It is supposed to be hold on. I think there's a crack in my wall. Give me a second. It is not a crack. It is not a crack in my wall. I have just damaged the wall slightly. There's like a mark on the wall, but it's like in a perfect shaded color that made it look like it had like pushed. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You don't care. You can't even see it. Okay. Vivian, focus. So what was I saying? Right. The idea is to write a rough draft. This is going to be a lot shorter of a story than I have done in the past. My initial writing of this short story, my initial notes were that I was going to aim for about 2,500 words. So I think that I can write the whole rough draft today pretty easy. I can normally do 3,000 words without a lot of trouble in a normal writing day, so knocking out 2,500 shouldn't be that big of a deal. That being said, let's have a little bit of a conversation about writing. Now, I have done a lot of writing this month. As I said, it is August. It's near the end of August. I have been keeping track of my word counts. I am being quite good at writing this month. The only problem, I think the problem is that I've just been feeling so antsy lately. I've been feeling so just unhappy sitting lately, where normally I'm quite happy sitting at my desk. I'm quite happy sitting in my office. This month I'm just not settled. Okay, so it is 10 o'clock now. How about we do this? What if we like, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe you are writing with me, but what if I make myself a little something to drink, a little coffee, and we try writing at home? I think we try writing at home. I think I need to force myself to get back into the flow of writing at home. So we're going to write at home. If we succeed, we leave in order to go buy some boba tea. Maybe that's my concession. I think that's my concession. Okay, we're gonna do that. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna write at home. I'm gonna go make coffee. I'm gonna go make coffee because this is tea and this tea is cold. And then we're gonna write. We're gonna write a short story. That's what we're gonna do. Cold tea. How do I start this. Hello. Quick update. It's currently 11:20, so it's been about an hour and a bit. I'm currently at 12,444 words. And I am really struggling. I should have had more words, but I should have been done by now, but I've just been really struggling with it. I mean, I don't know how much of it is because a lot of this I'm having to kind of make up as I go. Like, I hadn't even figured out where in Florida it was going to be, so I kind of had to do that. So I don't know how much that hasn't helped. I'm at a point now where I think it can kind of flow a bit better. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out. I am gonna see if I can get at least another 1,000 words done. I think that I might make an out at 12:30, so in about an hour. If I haven't written enough by then, I'm gonna go for a walk anyway, but I just won't pick up a boba because I didn't earn it. But I'm needing to move, I'm needing to walk, and I'm needing to do it soon. So I think I'm gonna give myself another hour. Another hour, see where we're at. We'll assess then. There we go. Okay, so we are at 2,546 words, so I'm happy with that. I think I already know things that I want to change. I spent too long almost like getting my main character to the site, you know, to the community, to the commune, and I just don't think I need that. Like, I was trying to almost explain why it was happening, and I don't think I need that. I think I can just jump straight in, and that gives me a little bit more wiggle room. I wanted to spend more time with maybe a couple of the other stories. I wanted to spend more time with this kind of odd leader. I wanted to spend more time doing academic endeavors, if that makes any sense. I have little bits of like the way people would talk about stuff, and I almost wanted to dig into an academic study that would talk about what those kinds of metaphors would mean or possibly stand for. My footnotes, my like citation references, some of them are fake and completely made up. So for example, I reference previous studies of this story, this folklore narrative that my main character is going to study. And obviously those aren't real because it's not a real story. I made it up. So I'm making up the academic references for that. But I do have, right now, only one academic work that is real that I am citing. And I want to throw in like a couple more. And I also want to throw in maybe like 1 or 2 more fake ones. But yeah, it is 12 o'clock exactly right now. It is noon. It is noon precisely. I believe I have something being delivered at 3 something. So I've got a couple of hours before I need to like make sure I'm home. I think I'm going to leave and go for a walk. I'm gonna go for a little bit of a lengthy walk, I think. I haven't quite figured out the pathways I'm going to take, but I'm going to walk somewhere. I'm gonna go get a boba tea, and then we're gonna come back. And I think we're gonna keep working on this, despite the fact that it is a rough draft, and normally I would walk away, but there are a couple of important things that I think I can still do. Anyway, so let's go for a walk because I need to move, I need to do something, and then we're gonna go pick up a thing, we'll come back, and then we'll tackle this a little bit more, and I think that'll be good.
One of the parcels came while I was gone. Look at how absolutely sodden it is. Ugh. Well. Oh. Let's hope it's fine.
Boba! How's that angle? That's probably bad. Alright, so, okay, so we're not going to be editing what I just wrote this morning because I like to wait personally, like a little bit of time before I go to edit. What I'm thinking of doing, because it's currently 1:30, so I've got a couple more hours left of work time, just a few. So what I might do is plan out some citation stuff. That'll probably take me pretty solidly until about 3 o'clock. and then they'll call it there. So I'm either going to end when I'm finished with this or at 3, but I have a feeling they'll be at least roughly the same point. So that's what we're doing. So it's a little bit earlier than I was anticipating, but I have gathered the resources that I already have at hand, that I have already stockpiled over the years. It's also only 2,500 words. Like, realistically speaking, if it was a real article, I probably wouldn't have, like, you know, too many references, because you can't sort through that or reflect on those resources enough. So I think I'm probably going to call it there for today as far as the short story is concerned. I'm really happy, actually, with how it turned out. I do think that the structure is working. There were points where I think it failed a little bit more than other points, but I don't think it's anything that a rewrite can't fix. It's literally like a rough draft. It's why I like to use the word rough draft rather than first draft. First draft feels almost too formalized to me. A rough draft doesn't have to look anything like how it's going to look. It's literally just like a sketch. That's why I like to call it a rough draft, because it might not look very similar to how it's going to look at the end, but what's important is that there are words on a document that I can then go and edit. I can then go and you know, rearrange. I can then go and figure it out. The rewrites for bringing it into a first draft is probably going to be a lot more focused on making sure that the structure works, kind of removing things that feel too fiction setup and not enough nonfiction article, bringing in a little bit more almost like narrative reflection, but in the form of academic consideration. I think those two things can meld really well, and I think that's where I need to bring a lot more attention and focus to the work in order to make it make sense and really fit together in the way that I think it needs to. But that's going to be future me problems. Hopefully it won't be another month. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye!